My dear friends, today I'll be discussing about dilated cardiomyopathy and how to diagnose it. Now, dilated cardiomyopathy is a type of cardiomyopathy where there is gradual dilation of the left ventricular or right ventricular chamber leading to its gradual weakness, and because of that the heart's ability to pump out blood effectively gradually decreases, and which may ultimately leads to heart failure. So in dilated cardiomyopathy, finally the heart becomes dilated, weakened and enlarged, and various examination of the heart shows that the heart is enlarged or there is enlargement of the heart. And with time it has been found that dilated cardiomyopathy may leads to heart failure, valvular heart disease, ventricular arrhythmia or cardiac arrhythmia, or even increase in thrombotic events like pulmonary embolism, peripheral vascular disease, ischemic stroke, hemorrhagic stroke and so on. Now, various risk factors like alcoholism, or because of idiopathic reason, or because of various modifiable risk factors like hypertension, diabetes, tuberculosis, viral myocarditis, because of Coxsackie B virus, enterovirus infection, because of sarcoidosis or cardiac toxic drugs, chemotherapy drugs that affects the heart muscle become weak, or because of genetic reason also the heart muscle become weak, and because of that the gradually declining capacity of the heart occurs, and with time the heart become dilated, very weak, and heart become enlarged. And also there is a sign symptoms of heart failure, because it also leads to heart failure in the long run. So that is dilated cardiomyopathy. Now it has been found that out of 2000 to 2500 patients, one patient may develop dilated cardiomyopathy, and it can be seen in children also, and it may be one of the important cause of cardiomyopathy in children. And various treatment modalities and stoppage of the modifiable risk factors can ultimately helps in prevention and prognosis of the disease. Now today we will be discussing about how to diagnose dilated cardiomyopathy. So most important diagnostic tool is chest X-ray. Now chest X-ray specially helps to diagnose the enlargement of the heart. It helps to diagnose the enlargement of the heart, because in dilated cardiomyopathy the chamber undergoes enlargement and heart become bigger, and there is gradual increase in the size of the heart. So we call it heart enlargement or cardiomegaly. So in chest X-ray we see cardiomegaly. Beside, pleural effusion can be seen. So pleural effusion can be seen because of pulmonary venous hypertension that may occur because of mitral regurgitation or because of tricuspid regurgitation. So because of mitral regurgitation, there is more volume of blood entering into the left atrium, so it may give a back pressure on the pulmonary veins leading to pulmonary hypertension, and ultimately it may leads to pulmonary edema, and ultimately pleural effusion may be there. So chest X-ray may reveal heart enlargement, cardiomegaly, pleural effusion, pulmonary venous hypertension and so on. So most common is heart enlargement or cardiac tissue enlargement. So that is the most important finding in chest X-ray. Next important diagnostic tool in case of dilated cardiomyopathy is ECG. In ECG mostly we see sinus tachycardia or heart rate more than the normal. Then there may be ventricular arrhythmia, the sign symptoms of atrial fibrillation in ECG may be there. Beside, if there is a left bundle branch block along with right axis deviation, then diagnosis of dilated cardiomyopathy become very much distinct or easy in ECG. So in ECG, if we find left bundle branch block along with right axis deviation, then our diagnosis is towards dilated cardiomyopathy. Beside, there may be chance of getting sinus tachycardia, we may get atrial fibrillation, then ventricular arrhythmia, and various arrhythmic situations we can find on the ECG. Beside, echocardiography can be one of the important diagnostic tool, because it finally or ultimately helps in checking the ejection fraction, then cardiac enlargement. It also helps in finding out the thickness of the heart, then chamber volume and so on. So in echocardiography what we will get, we will see left ventricular dilatation as well as decreasing ejection fraction. So ejection fraction will be less, which proves that there is a chance of heart failure, or if the ejection fraction is less than 45%, it may signify that there is a existence of heart failure, or dilated cardiomyopathy has already complicated to heart failure. So this is the echocardiographic finding, where we will find cardiomegaly, dilatation of the left ventricular chamber, as well as fall in ejection fraction. Now, coronary angiography. Coronary angiography is another important diagnostic tool, but it helps in only to rule out ischemic heart disease, or if there is any thrombotic changes in the coronary arteries. So this is the important diagnostic tool, or to rule out coronary artery disease. Beside, there is genetic testing. Now, it may happen that the cause of dilated cardiomyopathy is of inheritance, or familial, or genetics. So in such case, we go for titin gene analysis, or genetic polymorphism study, or genetic testing, where we may find titin gene defect, or lemmin gene defect, or myosin heavy chain kinase gene defect, or various other gene defects may be associated with genetic testing, and it becomes very much important in diagnosis of genetic basis of dilated cardiomyopathy. 25 to 45% of the cardiomyopathy may be because of genetic causes, because of various contractile protein gene defect like laminin, titin, desmin, then cardiac troponin 1, cardiac troponin 2, phospholamban protein, then myosin heavy chain 7. So these are the various gene defects, and proper gene analysis and genetic testing is very much essential in diagnosis of dilated cardiomyopathy, which is of genetic occurrence. Next one is cardiac MRI. Cardiac MRI is also very much important, because it gives a clear idea about the condition of the heart. It can help us in diagnosis of the dilated cardiomyopathy. It shows us the cardiomegaly, it shows us the chamber dilatation and weakness of the cardiac muscle. It also shows us the flow of ejection fraction and cardiac output, and at the same time it also focus on the very thin wall of the ventricular chamber that occurs as a complication of dilated cardiomyopathy. And if there is valvular heart disease because of any complication of the dilated cardiomyopathy, that can be diagnosed by cardiac MRI also. So cardiac MRI also plays an important role in diagnosis of dilated cardiomyopathy. It also helps in ruling out any coronary vascular disease. It also helps in ruling out any valvular complication. It also helps in diagnosis of the dilated cardiomyopathy and its various complications.